Let's solve these two quadratic equations. They're second degree equations in x. The highest power on x is the second power. For the first one, it's 4x squared equals 20x. Part B is y squared plus 9 equals 6y. That's a second degree equation in y, but they're both second degree, so they're both quadratic equations. Okay, let's do the first one. Part A, we'll solve 4x squared equals 20x. First step is to get it into standard form. 4x squared minus 20x equals 0. See, we want everything on one side, the other side 0. And we want to put it on the side where the squared term is positive, so it's easier to factor. So step 1 is get everything on one side, the other side 0. Step 2, factor the non-zero side. We have a common factor for these two terms of 4 times x, and it leaves parenthesis x minus 5, because 4x times x is 4x squared. 4x times negative 5 is negative 20x. Bring down the equal sign, bring down the 0. Don't forget to bring that down. So now we have the product of two terms, two factors. One is in the first parenthesis, the other factor is in the second parenthesis. They multiply together and equal 0. For that to be true, there's something called the zero product property. If you have numbers, values multiplying together and equaling 0, either the first dude is equal to 0 or the second dude is equal to 0. That's the only way that can happen. So step 3, set the first dude equal to 0, union that together with the second dude equal to 0. Step 4, solve these two little equations. First, we're going to divide both sides by 4 to get x equals 0 over 4, so x equals 0. And we're going to union that solution together with add 5 to both sides, we get x equals 5. So our answer is two answers for this second degree equation. X is equal to 0 is a solution, and or together with x equals 5 is a solution. Now, there's another way you can write this answer. You can write it in set notation, where you do the curly set brackets and you list the solutions for x in any order. It doesn't matter which one comes first. That's called set notation, curly set brackets around the 0, 5. Okay, the second quadratic equation we're going to solve is the y squared plus 9 equals 6y. Step 1, get everything on one side, the other side 0. So we have y squared minus 6y plus 9 equals 0. We move things around, made sure the squared term is positive. If it wasn't positive, we'd move everything to the other side. But this is good. Y squared minus 6y plus 9 equals 0. Step 2, we're going to factor the non-zero side. You can factor by formula or factor by guessing. You'll get the same answer, y minus 3 times y minus 3. And you can check that by foiling it to make sure that it's good factorization. Step 3, set each of your factors equal to 0. Y minus 3 equals 0, union together with y minus 3 equals 0. But check that out. We get the same equation. So really, we only need one of them. We're just going to get the same answer anyway, so just cross out one of them and just cross out the second one and use the first one. Solve, step 4, we get y equals 3, and we're finished. We get one solution to this quadratic equation. So I'll review the steps one more time. When you're solving a quadratic, or in other words, a second degree equation by factoring, you get everything on one side, the other side 0. Factor the non-zero side, set each of the factors equal to 0, and solve the little equations.